Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Wow! Ah, look at that. Feather Duster Kitty is so... She's got the sweet life. She gets limousined in to do her 40-second work week. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Look, you know, there's almost no table for you to... Can you find a spot to dust a little bit? Here, let me help you find. There's a little spot right there. She can't find... Sweetness, she can't even find a spot to dust. I've cluttered the... Basil and I have cluttered the table up so much.
Better put your toys away.
Yeah. She's looking. She's not finding anything. Oh, look at that. She found a rain stick. Hold on. Hold on, see if she likes this or not. What do you think, Walter? You can say this is that. What's that, Basil? You don't follow boxing. So, you want me to name a boxer one at a time, and you'll tell me which other boxer would beat them. Okay. Let's start with the obvious. Muhammad Ali. Who would beat Muhammad Ali? Even though in real life they didn't. Okay. Basil said, Big Cat Williams. He said Big Cat Williams, who did not, by the way, Basil did not beat Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali dispatched him very quickly, I believe in Houston. I believe it might have been, I think it actually might have been before Muhammad Ali became Muhammad Ali while he was still Cassius Clay. Because he became Muhammad Ali, changed his name, he became a Muslim and changed his name to Muhammad Ali. Not very long before he fought, not very long before they sent him to prison after he refused induction into the army to fight in Vietnam. And he wasn't going to get inducted in order to entertain the troops like most professional athletes and other high profile people in the entertainment world are. Joe DiMaggio, Benny Goodman. Now Benny Goodman died in World War II, but he died on a troop ship that was sunk. So, but typically, athletes and other personalities you end up with the USO, and that's good because that's the best way they can serve their country is by entertaining the troops in between battles and all right, Ted Williams. We've talked about this before. And Basil's given me the sideways curled right whisker twistabout, and he wants me to say, put in a word for his favorite baseball player of all time, Ted Williams. And he likes to talk about Ted Williams as being the best swing ever, the best bat swinger ever in professional baseball. Just slightly better than the second best one, which was Barry Bonds, who created a strike zone that was just minuscule by the way he took his stance and by the way he crowded the plate and had the armband on to protect his arm because he got hit a few times. So he didn't have to fear about getting hit in the forearm. So he could crowd the plate and, okay, Ted Williams, you got it. Okay, you got a great hitter. Feared hitter. Held the record for most intentional walks until Barry Bonds. He was just an amazing hitter, and now we give Babe Ruth a little credit here because Babe Ruth was a great hitter, but he also would have been and was in fact a great pitcher. Little known fact about Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth was the man who held the record for consecutive shutout innings in World Series play until a fellow named Whitey Ford came along, and he broke Babe Ruth's pitching record. Babe Ruth was a magnificent pitcher who they decided probably might be better served to the game because the game was just coming into an era where home runs were starting to become popular, coming out of the dead ball era. And Babe Ruth was a guy that hit some mighty home runs, and they said, well, we need this guy in the ballpark every day. So the pitching career faded away, and the hitting career took off. So what's that got to do with what you want to talk about today? I mean, we're going to talk sports all day today. Basil says he's got 3 principal guests via phone today. He's got from last show. He's got the Republican Party president Benjamin Netanyahu. He's got another guy that's been in prominence for a long time. And another guy that's relatively new, someone that's brand new in the Senate of the United States from Arkansas. And that would be Senator Ali Khamenei. Ali Khamenei? No, that's the Grand Wazoo of Iran. That's the religious leader in Iran. That's the guy that really... It's always been the Ayatollah that's been the power broker in Iran. The president doesn't. The president's kind of a figurehead kind of a guy. Like in Britain, prime minister's not really very powerful. He just sort of stands up in front of the House of Lords and House of Commons, and gets into heated I gotcha last matches. But all right, who's the third one? Basil very cleverly put it on this sheet of paper. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, that name sounds real familiar. Well, 2/3 of it does. The third guest we're having today is the Ayatollah Tom Cotton. Now, it seems like there's a little bit of a twist here. Senator Ali Khamenei, Ayatollah Tom Cotton. Okay. Basil's saying, okay, go ahead. Meow, 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 meow. And you see him shrug his shoulders? I guess his shoulders are not really there in the picture, but if they were, he'd be shrugging his shoulders and basically saying, what's the difference? These guys are both cut from the same cloth. They're both hardliners, right-wing extremists, and they're part of what Basil's very religious. He and I are both devout Christians religiously and Buddhist philosophically. But Basil's assembled what he thinks is the not the Trinity, not the Holy Trinity, but he's identified the unholy Trinity. And those three, Republican Party President Benjamin Netanyahu, the Ayatollah Tom Cotton, and Senator Ali Khamenei, are just that. They are the unholy Trinity. That's to say, they want to plunge the world into a war that they can start by well, it wouldn't be Israel that would attack Iran, would it be? Basil said, could be. But it's probably more likely that the Republican Party President Benjamin Netanyahu would coerce Senator Ali Khamenei into getting his way. And well, Basil says, no, wait a second now. First of all, we want to go back to boxing for a second because we haven't finished that little bit up. But he says quickly, he says he doesn't want to talk to Republican Party President Benjamin Netanyahu because his name sounds too much like Netanyahu. And in fact, we found out in our episode last week that that Republican Party President Benjamin Netanyahu's email address is Benjamin Netan at yahoo.com. So, and Basil's not really interested in talking to him as much as he's looking to talk again, as we did briefly, to President Benjamin Netanyahu's cat, named NeoCat. Okay. Back to boxing. Okay. Muhammad Ali, greatest fighter, in my opinion, one of the greatest, certainly in anybody's opinion, even though he fell into a little disfavor for a few years in the prime of his career because he wouldn't be inducted into the military and fight in Vietnam. He refused to. He said, and I'm going to quote him because it's important that you hear it, that you hear a quote, even though it contains a slur, a racial slur. Muhammad Ali said, "No Vietnamese ever called me a nigger." Oh, okay, I do it this way. Supposed to do it this way? Okay, hold on. Okay. No Vietnamese ever called me a... Okay. So who would beat him? Who would beat Muhammad Ali? Basil said, I already answered that. Big Cat Williams. I don't care if he lost to him. I don't care if Muhammad Ali beat him the first time badly. Big Cat Williams would have come back and Big Cat Williams would have been the only fighter ever to win his last 150 matches because cats have staying power. So that's it. Do you want to do any more boxers? Good. Nah. And a little wave of the peacock feather just for emphasis. So now, let's go on with the show about the unholy Trinity. So there you go. Is there anything else you want to talk about besides that? Because we got 56 minutes to fill in between commercials and dialogue, and we still have about 14 more minutes of the first show to do. Okay, just to give the audience a little taste about something you'll see during tonight, Friday night show, or you'll see on Sunday morning show. Basil's going to take on Yik Yak. Now, Yik Yak is a social media that's become very popular on college campuses and almost became popular on high school, junior high school, elementary school campuses, where kids seem to for the most of them have cell phones. And Yik Yak is a social media way that you can insult other people and may say some pretty nasty things like threaten to bring a gun to school. And Yik Yak was created to be untraceable, totally anonymous. You can say anything you want to. You can make any disparaging remark against a classmate, against a teacher. You can say, I'm going to bring a gun to school and watch out, everybody, and not have anyone know it was you that did it. In fact, there was one case where a kid promised to bring a gun to school and show everybody a thing or two about that gun. And it took the police literally days using all the technology they had to break the firewalls down and find out who the kid was. And the kid's punishment for saying that he was going to bring a gun to school and shoot up the place, 2 years probation. So that's it. So that's Yik Yak. So you want to talk a little further about that now? Or? Said said nah. Of course, hidden in that nah, there's Basil found out about a little Oklahoma university known as the University of Oklahoma. And they had a fraternity chapter, a brotherhood, if you will, a fraternity chapter, Epsilon, Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Sigma's the one that's like a sideways pitchfork, and that's it's used in mathematics for summation notations. And if you want to know what summation notations are, look it up. We don't have time. It's complicated. So that little fraternity chapter, Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Now, the lesser story is that they were making some, doing some chants, and basically saying, and I'm not going to use the word this time around because I'm only allowed once per show, and I'll have to bleep it out when I edit the show. Anyway, but the smaller story, according to Basil, is that they were on tape doing a chant and playing with their fraternity song and saying there aren't going to be any black people coming to Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Ain't going to be no black people coming to Sigma Alpha Epsilon. There ain't going to be no black people coming to Sigma Alpha Epsilon. And just for a little added emphasis at the end of the song, there ain't going to be no black people coming to Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Just for a little twist at the end. Well, Basil says he did a little investigation beyond that, and he actually found out that there's an uglier version of this story. And should I just go ahead and say it? Said Basil found out from some friends of his that they were also singing a song which went like this. Ain't gonna be no cats at Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Ain't gonna be no cats at Sigma Alpha Epsilon. And there's a little more to it. It's not quite just the same thing 4 times. Okay, the song went on to say, gonna skin them. Gonna use their fur pelt as a jockstrap when we work on Wall Street. Ain't gonna be no cats at Sigma Alpha Epsilon. So, well, I'm sure to Basil that's, Basil has completely understands the anger of black people and the anger of almost all white people at Oklahoma University, and but this one really hits close to home to him. I'm going to read it again. This is the actual song that they were singing, caught on video at Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity in Oklahoma University. And apparently they had this grandma. Grandma was there leading the chant. She was there leading the song singing. After she got done saying, black person, 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 black, etc., etc., etc. She led the chant. This is the grandma, the dorm parent. We'll call her grandma. she led this chant, and I'll do it again. And I know Basil's gonna cringe because it really hits hard at his people. Ain't gonna be no cats at Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Ain't gonna be no cats at Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Gonna skin them. Gonna use their fur pelt as a jock strap when we work on Wall Street. Well, that's pretty unnerving. You're right, Basil. It's pretty unnerving. Good evening. Thank you for calling Basil BuddhaCat Presents. Okay. Tweety, check this out. It's I'm actually hearing two voices at the same time. Oh, okay, because the other one's on the Inky Dinky phone. Okay. Actually, you sound much clearer on the Inky Dinky phone. So let me put that down. We need to have that down just in case we get, an important call in. Matter of fact, hold on a second. Thank you for calling Basil BuddhaCat Presents. Well, that's easy. It's Lil, and Lil, are you on the big cat in the hat phone too? Hold on, let me check. Lil, she's there. Basil, Lilith, tail included free of charge. Basil's mate, with Basil in the hereafter since October, and we miss her dearly, but she's reunited. She's reunited with Basil, and that's pretty cool. And Basil's here for the show, and Lil followed him down. Okay, now let's see. Let's figure out first of all who you are. Tweety, check the number out. What do you think? Is it legitimate? And if it's legitimate, where is it coming from? Okay, Tweety says, yeah, it's coming from Grandma at an undisclosed location in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, where the University of Oklahoma is. And Grandma, we have to ask you, are you still on campus? She said, no, dagnabbit. I've been chased off campus by those rowdy white people, administrators, president of the university, and pretty much everybody else. Chased away from the university, and she's slunk away to a hotel room somewhere, looking to start another fraternity. I know, Piggy. I just have to figure out something. Hold on. Okay. So you still there, Grandma? You still there, Lil? Yeah. Lil. Look, Basil, I know we're just starting an interview. I know we have to do commercials. Grandma, hold on a second, please, and we'll be back with you in a moment. Okay. Let's see if we can get through these quick. Okay. Cafe Bustelo. Nothing more to be said beyond it's the best cafe you can find. It's the best coffee you can find. Strong, tasty, priced right on Main Street in Danbury has it. Great. Okay. And let's see. Okay. This is for not the fraternities, but for the sororities, because it's very big on the sororities in campus. It's Mr. Potato Schlong, very popular game, and we've been advertising Mr. Potato Schlong so long that the little roots are actually a little bit bigger. So, Mr. Potato Schlong, get your girlfriend one. She won't need you anymore. Schweppes, old standby. Schweppes. Schweppervescence. P&W root beer. It's that extra letter that gives it the sparkle and the zing. Dermasil, Abbott Labs. Sorry, they ditched us, so we're going to ditch them in return. ping pong paddle, or as Gary Shandling used to call it, ping pong paddle. Let's see. We've got the rose. Is it a rose or is it a hemorrhoid? Only your dietitian knows for sure. And the best of the best of the best, Basil's old standby Tootsie Roll. And tagline: how do we know that Tootsie Roll is Basil's favorite candy? Same reason we know that P.A.N.W. root beer is Basil's favorite root beer, because you'll find evidence of it in the litter box. So, Tootsie Roll. Okay. Our time's up. Wait a second. Look at that. Well, we're going to have to pick up the discussion again Sunday morning, because this has been Basil BuddhaCat Presents. Have a wonderful Friday night, and we'll see you Sunday morning. And Lil, will you hang around with us, talk with us a little bit after the show? Of course you will. And we'll be back talking about Yik Yak, and maybe a little bit more about Oklahoma State. Actually, pardon me, not to disparage Oklahoma State. It's the University of Oklahoma. Oklahoma State, new motto is, for God's sakes, don't confuse us with Oklahoma University. And we might even talk about that unholy trinity that we discuss. So, Basil BuddhaCat Presents. I'm David Stevenson, Basil's co-host, interpreter, chief gopher, and we shall see you Sunday morning. Good night.
They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, on Wall Street. Fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, on Wall Street. Meow.